Guys, welcome to another episode of me making soap. So here I am showing you two different ways that I tried a soap challenge for this month. It was a combing technique that was on the docket for soap challenge this month, and I tried several different things I've never done before, one of which was using these squeeze bottles. I lined them with those little air puffs that people put or businesses put in packages that they ship, and it's basically a bag full of air and it protects your items in shipping. So those little bags I lined my squeeze bottles with the first time I made this soap. And come to find out, it is the most wonderful thing in the entire universe if you are using squeeze bottles to make soap. Lining them helps so much. It helps cleanup be a breeze. It just goes so fast. So that's one thing that I learned the first round as opposed to the second round. I did not have any bags left to line them with for the second round. So the first one, I learned so much, and it will be super helpful the next time I try this technique. So I also made a soap comb, and that is basically just corrugated cardboard with wooden dowels stuck in. You can use a lot of different things in order to make a soap comb, but that's what I used. That was the illustration given for our instructions for the challenge. And they said that you could, use other things, but that was just super simple to make. So that's what I did. And I also used a slab mold for the first time. I've never used a slab mold. I got mine from Brambleberry. It's just a little 6x6 slab mold. It was really nice to work with. The only thing that was new for me was to actually learn how to cut soap from a slab mold, and also releasing the soap from the slab when it was ready to cut. Those two posed challenges for me, and it was definitely a learning curve, but I managed. So I'm just putting the lines of color into the slab mold from the squeeze bottles. This batch I used a wonderful fragrance oil that I've been really successful with in the past, but for this particular design, I soaped a little too warm. I was about 96 degrees for my lye water solution as well as my oils, and it was just too warm for this particular design. As you can see, the soap is starting to set up fairly rapidly. It's not soap on a stick. It was just a little too quick for this particular design. And for the second round, I really learned my lesson, and I made sure to wait until everything was about 76 degrees. So here I'm going in with my combing tool, and you can see that I go one way for one pass and the other way for the other pass, and it really irritates me looking at it now, but that's what I did. I should have gone the same way for both passes. It's just one of those OCD things that I see after I did it, but there's no going back. The soap's already made. So here it is. It is fairly thick at this point. I sprayed it with rubbing alcohol, and I do like the design. I think it's cool looking. And the texture on top was really cool. I ended up planing the top off so it was smooth and flat, and it ended up just looking like garbage. So this one definitely is not the one that I'm going to enter into the challenge, but I did learn so much on this first go round. So I did just use a ruler to measure. The bars weren't exactly the same size, but I figure that's part of handmade, right? I do really love my multi-bar cutters, so when I have to cut by hand again, it really is like, I've never been good at this. It's really a struggle point, but here is my second batch starting off. Like I said, I was about 76 degrees for both the lye solution and the oils. I used Love Spell fragrance oil from the Midwest Fragrance Company, which I know is a really good fragrance oil to work with when you want things to stay nice and fluid for a long period of time. So I knew that that one was a great one to work with for this design. I'm a really big fan of the bright colors. I was going to do really a peacock type theme for this one, but I ended up throwing that hot pink in there too. I just couldn't help myself. I need to have a hot pink in there just somewhere. So it was mostly blues, purples, and then that hot pink. A couple different shades of blue and purple. All of my colorants in this soap are from Mad Micas. I just absolutely love that company for their colorants. It's just divine. I've tried different companies and there are other good companies out there, but my go-to that I fall back on is Mad Micas. They're just amazing. So again, with this batch, I just go back and forth. I think I did 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, for each one. And the colors just kind of pooled together at, as time went by, because this is still very runny at this point. It really did not thicken up significantly like the last batch I made. When I was combing it, I was like scraping the soap, hoping that it would actually work because it was so thick. But this one really remained fluid. It was really easy to work with, this fragrance oil. And at this temperature, it did take a longer time for this particular batch to be able to cut. The other one went through a hot gel phase. This one did not. So it took a full 24 hours for me to be able to cut this batch. And there I am going in with the comb, and then I go the same way this time. Hooray for me. So I did end up taking some wooden dowels and kind of messing with the top some more after I combed it, and I really, really love how that design came out. That hot pink is just so incredibly vivid. It does not die down after saponification. I just love it. I think that one is Pretty Kitty. If for those of you who are soap makers from Mad Micas, if you're wanting to try it, their neons are amazing. So yeah, these 2 bars are slightly larger than the other 2 bars, but you know what? It's okay. I did end up planing the surface of these bars as well, so I just had a nice, flat, smooth surface. Not that it matters, but it is for a challenge, so I just really, really wanted it to look as good as it possibly could. And here they are. I'm so pleased with the results of this month's soap challenge. I learned so much. Thanks for watching, guys.